Yes, good evening, students. So, today's topic of discussion would be learning, the next topic of our syllabus. So, let's start with the theory part of learning. Okay, in between, if you have any query, you can raise your hand, please. So, let me share my screen with you. So, first of all, we'll discuss about the basic concept about what is learning is all about. Okay, and then we'll move to the theories of learning in this session. Okay, so let's start, I think. Yes, in 1 minute. So as you can see that when we talk about this particular chapter learning, okay, first of all, we'll understand about the basic concept, what the learning is all about, okay. So when we talk about the learning, it is basically nothing but a simple psychological process with the help of which we can determine a particular human behavior. And if you remember that we have started this particular topic from individual behavior, and now we'll move to the next, the fourth topic of the characteristics of individual behavior, that is called learning. Now, when we talk about this particular process learning, the first and foremost thing, it is basically the psychological behavior. Psychological behavior or psychological process, we can say that in order to understand human behavior that determine human behavior. Okay. Now, when we discuss about the psychological process, it means what? It is basically something which we actually like. For example, if we are going to schools, definitely we are learning something in the schools only. When we talk about if we are going for our workplace, we are learning certain things out of it as well. If we are living in a society, definitely we are learning something out of it. So when we discuss about this particular learning process, it is something nothing but a permanent change in the behavior of an individual, a permanent change in the behavior of an individual. Okay. Now, what sort of permanent change? Permanent change, it means that because of the upbringing of a particular person, because of the, you could say, how a particular person is going through, which is learning process, because these learning process is all about the reinforced practices. Okay. And it is because of the experience, or you could say result of the continuous experience of particular activity. Okay. So when we discuss about this particular part, learning process, the learning process, basically we can see that the important change, or you could say important consideration when we talk about learning, it is because of the education, training, practices and experience. Education, practices, training and experience. So learning can be done with proper training, experience. Then when we talk about education, and when we discuss about the next part, which is practice. So the major, you could say, four parameters. On the base of that, the learning is always depends on. Okay. Now, when we discuss about this particular learning process, it may be done with the help of training, experience, education, and practice. These four basic modes, with the help of which we always have some permanent change in the individual. Okay. Now, when we discuss about these four important, you could say, definition of learning, that we'll discuss one by one. Okay. Now, a very simple, you could say, bookish language, if we talk about, that is called relatively permanent change, relatively permanent change in the behavior that occur as a result of experience or reinforced practice. Okay. Relatively permanent change, sorry, relatively permanent change in behavior that occurs as a result of experience or reinforced practice, as a result of experience and reinforced practice. Okay, so this is a very basic concept about what this learning is all about. If we, in a nutshell, if we talk about the learning is all about the permanent change, and these permanent change basically occur in the individual. It is because of the education, the, you could say, the training, experience, and the practice of an individual, and according to that, a human behavior may change from particular person to person, depends on their learning or depends on their, you could say, the process which determine a particular human behavior. Now, when we discuss about the four major, you could say, definitional aspect of this particular learning, the first part, if we'll talk about in this particular case, that is about the learning. That is, it is about the change in behavior. Okay. Now, change in behavior is nothing but basically improvement over previous behavior. Like if we take a simple example, change in behavior. Okay. Or we can say that, and make sure this particular change is basically an improvement over the previous behavior. Okay. And when we discuss about the improved behavior, it is basically like from bad habit to good habits, or you could say much better habit. If we can talk about, if you talk about a particular stereotype or a traditional move, if you talk about any work restriction, is also basically type of learning. So always remember, change in behavior, it means that it is it is it is improved behavior. It is an improved behavior from previous one, and improvements basically like from example good to bad habit, like from less experience to more experience, like we talk about less knowledgeable to more knowledgeable. So as soon as the person is going in his or her life, definitely because of their experience, education, practice, and training, he always having certain sort of transformation in its particular psychological process. The second and the most important point, that whatever change we have, these changes must be relatively permanent. Okay, change must be relatively permanent. Okay. The third part which we need to discuss right now, that is about the behavioral change. And these behavioral change is because of the continuous practice, or you could say the experience of an individual. So behavioral change in the behavioral change in the form of experience or practices. Okay. Now, when we discuss about the fourth part and the last part about this particular learning process, that is about this practice or experience, whatever we are discussing right now, it is basically a reinforced practice. Okay. So learning is reinforced learning is reinforced in order to facilitate in order to facilitate behavioral changes. Okay. So the major, you could say, four outcome of the basic definition about learning. Okay. Now, when we discuss about the next part, it is about the component of learning process. Okay. So let's move to the next slide and the next topic about the components of learning process. Components of learning process. Okay. Now there are basically certain, I think 7 to 8 components we have. First of all, we'll name it out over here. The first one is called drive. Second one is called cue stimuli. Third one is called generalization. Discrimination. Then we have response. then we have reinforcement, then we have retention. Then we have retention. So that are basically the 7 major components with the help of which we can understand about the learning process. And we'll discuss all these points one by one. Okay? Just a minute, student. Yes, students. So we'll discuss the first and the basic important component of the learning process, that is called drive. Now, what is the meaning of drive, which we need to understand? Okay. Okay. So now when we talk about drive, drive is the most important and the basic element about learning process. Okay. Now, if you can see that when we're discussing about this particular part, learning, the drive is something basically is the most important, or you could say any strong stimuli or any strong, you could say, experience, knowledge, training, because of which you actually impel a particular actions. You impel a particular action. So that is a very basic important part about the learning and the first component of learning, that is called the drive. Now, in a simple nutshell, if we talk about what is this drive is all about, so drive are basically is of two types. There is the primary drive and the secondary drive. Always remember, the drive is basically nothing but any strong training, experience, or knowledge because of which you impel certain action. Okay, so in a simple language, if you can write down, any strong stimulus, any strong stimulus that impels action. Okay. Now, this particular drive may be, you could say, let's type the drive is of two types. This is called primary drive and secondary drive. Okay. Now, when we discuss about the primary drive, okay, primary drive is basically something which we can say that it is a physiological changes, and secondary drive we can say that it is called the psychological changes. Okay. Now when we discuss about the physiological, now physiological changes, it's all about the external stimuli which may change the behavior of an individual. Okay. So primary, if we talk about the basic component, which is called the physiological changes, and the secondary, it is basically called psychological changes or psychological stimuli, we can say that. Okay. Now always make sure whenever we learn something from society, from organization, from, we could say, different work culture, if we talk about, each and every work culture is basically based on primary and the secondary drives, and primary drive is based on physiological and second drive based on the psychological. Okay. Now always remember, whenever we talk about any individual, these drives basically may occur or may impel to a particular person at the same time. Okay. Now, in order to predict the behavior of an individual, okay, a person learning maybe, you could say, from primary or maybe from the secondary, depends on their learning process or depends on their learning inputs. Okay. So always remember, in order to predict the behavior of an individual, which drive are stimulating the most, that is very, very important. Like whether the particular primary, you could say, drive are more important or more, you could say, attractive or more, you could say, intent for a particular person, or it may be secondary as well. Okay. So always remember, the drives are very, very important, and which drive is basically suiting to a particular person in terms of their learning. It's very, very important to understand. Okay. The second part, the second point we have, that is called the cue stimuli. Second part is called your cue stimuli. Now, when we discuss about the cue stimuli basically are all those factors that basically exist in the environment, and it is perceived by the individual. Okay. Now, when we discuss about the observation of a particular person, because cue stimuli is totally based on observation. For example, if you're moving in society and a particular person may observe so many things. Okay, so many things in terms of, like, for example, if I'm moving to a market, moving to a mall, if I'm moving in, you could say, at a public place or a tourist place, each and every individual having their own perception, how you perceive certain things from the market. Okay, so always remember, this cue stimuli is basically all those factors that exist in the environment, that exist in the environment as perceived by the individual. Now, always remember, when we talk about this particular cue stimuli, all those factors, now these factors may be primary, maybe secondary, depends on a particular person. Okay. Now, these cue stimuli or these factors, you could say, may be based on two components. So, it is of two types. Number one, generalization and discrimination. Generalization and discrimination. So always remember, when we talk about this cue stimuli, the cue stimuli or that particular factor which attracts you more or which will give you more learning as compared to any other thing. For example, like in the teaching as well, like if I'm teaching you online, if I'm teaching you offline, or it could be the hybrid mode, which particular method will actually give you more impact when it's come to your learning, when it's come to your online training, offline training, on the job training. So it may be generalization, it may be discrimination. Generalization means basically a similar training is given to all, but discrimination is basically, for example, a particular situation or a particular, you could say, problem in the organization, accordingly how you can think beyond the you could say in a general level. So that is called the discrimination. For example, a particular solution came out from the individual which is out of the thinking of the group, those who are sitting in the organization. So discrimination is basically the thinking which is beyond the particular person's imagination or thinking something differently which other even cannot think about. Okay, that is called the cue stimuli. The third and important point about this particular case, that is about your response. Now, when we discuss about the response is basically nothing but stimulus, whatever we have, or the learning, you could say attraction, whatever we have, it result in certain responses. And these responses may be in the physical form or maybe in terms of attitude, familiarity, perception, or any other complex phenomena. Means how a particular person responds for a particular action. So this stimulus results in response. Now, basically, these responses may be in the physical form. Responses may be in physical form or maybe in terms of attitude, maybe in terms of attitude, or we can say familiarity when you talk about perception or any other complex phenomena or any other complex Okay, so like when we discuss about the responses, these responses may be in terms of any physical or in the forms of attitude, familiarity, perception, or in any other complex psychological phenomena, which may be the outcome of any learning. So always remember, the stimulus may be any training, as I told you already, any experiences, any study, or any knowledge about a particular situation. So that is a part of your response. Okay, now let's move to the next and the fourth point about this particular category, that is called reinforcement. Okay, that is called the reinforcement. Reinforcement. Okay, now when we discuss about the reinforcement, it is basically the fundamental condition of any learning process. Okay, now what is reinforce? Is basically someone when they want to, you could say, being enforced to learn something, or it is, we could say, compulsory for someone to learn something. That is called the conditions of learning, because it is compulsory, or it is, you could say, mandatory for a particular person to learn, and that particular person basically reinforced to learn something. And always remember, without reinforcement, a particular person behavior which cannot be, you could say, much more impactful again. Okay, so when we discuss about the reinforcement, it is because of the fundamental condition of learning, and without reinforcement, no measurable modification of behavior takes place. Okay, now in this case, when we talk about reinforcement, it is basically environmental event as well, in which we always actually respond whatever we have learned or whatever we have understood, whatever we have experienced from the market, and accordingly your behavior will be associated in the same fashion. Okay, so in a nutshell, if we can talk about what is reinforcement, it is basically fundamental conditions of learning. And the second part, if we talk about these particular action or situation, okay, that is all about the environmental event. Okay, it is environmental events affecting the probability of occurrence of responses with which they are associated. So very simple part about the reinforced learning or reinforcement. It basically something which is forced to learn because of the compulsion, because of the mandatory action or mandatory situation for a particular individual. And the last point which come under learning process, that is called the retention. Now, when we discuss about the retention process, how you retain, what you can retain out of their learning, because as you know that whenever we learn something, it is always important for a particular person up to what extent he can remember all the situation. So always remember, when we discuss about this particular retention process, retention is basically stability of learned behavior over time is called the retention. Up to what extent you can actually learn. Either you can retain or you can forget something from this situation. Okay, in a simple language, the stability of a learned behavior over time and if you want to, you could say, when you talk about some of the learning which is retained over a period of time, which may forgotten as well. Okay, so always remember, the learning may be forgotten if it is not being, you could say, revised, or if it is not being, say, re-experienced or retrained by a particular person. So that is a very simple part about the retention. Okay, and the last line, when you talk about the forgetting part, you could say some of the learning is retained over a period of time is retained over a period of time over a period of time, while others may be forgotten. While others may be forgotten. So it's a very basic, simple understanding about the elements of this particular learning process. Okay. Now the next part which we need to start, with the important part about this particular topic, that is about your learning theories. Okay. So next topic, that is learning theories. Okay. So now when we discuss about this particular learning theories, the learning theories are basically of, first is called classical conditioning, second is called operant conditioning, third is called positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement. Then we have extinction, punishment, observation learning, cognitive learning, social learning, and a beautiful diagram about the process how a learning can be understood with the help of this such methodology. Okay. Now, when we discuss about the first part, that is called classical conditioning. The first method we'll discuss, I think let it be okay, learning theories. And we are discussing the first part right now, that is called classical conditioning. Classical conditioning. Okay. Now, this particular classical conditioning is basically given by Ivan Pavlov. And basically, this is an experiment on a particular dog and you could say a piece of meat. How that particular dog is basically learned a particular behavior, that whenever we are offering meat to a particular dog, definitely that meat is basically attract, or it is nothing but a stimulus for the dog in order to learn something. So all remember, I'll just give you a, I'll read out actually first of all about this complete experiment, and then we'll understand this particular part. Okay. Now this theory of classical conditioning is basically given by Ivan Pavlov, and this is basically a particular experimentation which is presented by Pavlov, and the piece of meat to the dog is basically presented. And what the Pavlov noticed, basically a great deal of salivation. Okay. Now when we discuss about this particular part, because the food which is being offered, or the piece of meat which is being offered to the dog, is basically unconditional stimulus. First of all, unconditional, why? Because dog actually does not know about whether is it a food for him or not. Okay, so initially it is basically a unconditional stimulus, and the salivation or the response of the dog, which was basically unconditional. Okay, when the dog basically saw the meat, definitely he salivated. And and on the other hand, when we talk about when the Pavlov basically merely rang a bell only, the dog did not salivate, because initially it was unconditional um, stimulus. Okay, but subsequently what happened, if the Pavlov basically subsequently introducing a sound of bell each time whenever he want to give a meat to the dog, and dog eventually learned to salivate in response to ringing the bell, even when there was no meat. Now Pavlov basically having the condition was they have created. Condition means ringing the bell, offering the meat, ringing the bell, offering the meat. Now what happened, whenever next time the bell rang, okay, the dog knows that he you could say would be offered with a meat. Okay, so in this particular case, this is called basically law of exercise. Okay, in this case, what the Pavlov did, Pavlov had conditioned the dog in respond to the learned stimuli, because the particular Pavlov has basically created a particular process and how they can offer a meat to the dog in order to learn that particular stimulus. Okay, so this is basically called the law of exercise. What I'll do, I'll just copy this particular example over here, and you can just read it out once. Okay, 1 minute please. So I'm just showing that example to you. You can just have a look of once whatever the example I have given to you. It's basically the famous Russian physiologist, that is Ivan Pavlov, and how he demonstrated basically classical conditioning process. Okay, just have a look of this, and if you have any query, you can raise your hand, please, about classical conditioning. This you could say one of the most and the basic theory about classical conditioning. Yes, friend, do let me know. Is there any query in this example about how the law of exercise basically works? About initially that particular ringing the bell and offering the meat, it was unconditional response. But later on, the same process which is being followed subsequently, and now it became the law of exercise for the dog. And this is basically called the classical conditioning. Any query to anyone, please? They can raise your hand. I'll wait for 2 minutes. If not, then we'll move to the next part, operant conditioning. Yes, students, I hope so it is clear. I cannot see any raising of hand from the student. I hope so it is clear. Then we'll move to the next part. Okay. I am unmuting you right now for 1 minute. If you have any query, please you can ask right now. Let's start the next topic, that is operant conditioning. Yes, students, I have unmuted everyone. If you have any query, please kindly raise your hand or you can just unmute yourself. We can discuss upon. Any doubt till this point, classical conditioning? No, I hope so. Okay, thank you so much. Let's start the next topic now. That is called operant conditioning. Okay, the next and the second important theory of learning. So next theory we have, that is called operant conditioning. Okay. Now when we discuss about the operant conditioning, basically operant, what is the meaning of operant first? Operant is basically the behavior that produces certain effects. Okay. Now these effects may be basically a particular behavior of an individual and how a particular person is being reinforced, or you could say being pushed in order to learn something. Okay. So first of all, when we discuss about the operant means a behavior that produces effect. Operant means behavior that produces effects. That produces effects. Okay. Now, in this case, when you talk about the producing effects, the operant conditioning is basically given by Skinnerin, the psychologist basically, and what he suggested that whenever we talk about the individual responses, that individual responses may be, you could say, rewarded or may not be rewarded or punished. For example, if I'm giving you a training and basically training which is being given by a particular trainer, and it depends on an individual how he or she is basically practice that, and because of that practice only, because of that content learning only, a particular person may be rewarded or he or she may be punished as well. Okay, so in such a case, when we talk about such, you could say, important consideration, this operant conditioning basically nothing but a particular individual response and that response may be positive, may be negative, may be constructive, may be destructive. In such a cases, these responses or these outcomes may be punished, or this may be rewarded as well. Now, punished in terms of salary decrement, yes, rewarded when we talk about like bonus, increments, and all other components which we can discuss upon. Okay, so what this operant conditioning is all about? It is based on individual response that are either positive, or you could say that are either not rewarded or punished. Okay, that are either not rewarded or punished. Now, when we discuss about this particular operant conditioning, these particular behavior is basically determined, maintained, and controlled by its consequences. Okay, so always remember the responses which we have from the particular, you could say, individual. These responses are determined, comma, controlled, and maintained by its consequences. Okay, now when we discuss about this particular operant conditioning, it is always a very, very important, the powerful tool at the organization level. Okay, now when we discuss about this operant conditioning behavior, operant conditioning method, these operant conditioning method basically based on reward system. Okay, and these reward systems are basically because when we discuss about the reinforcement strategy, like we discussed already in the previous slide as well, what is reinforcement? It is being pushed to someone to learn something positive, or learn something new, learn something innovative. Now, in such a case, these operant conditioning which we have, it is based on reward system, and the reinforcement is basically something which increase the strength of response, which increase the strength of response. Okay, so always remember the reinforcement strategy, if we're talking right now. So reinforcement is anything that increases the strength of response, and tend to induce repetitions, and tends induce repetitions. Okay, now there are basically 4 different type of reinforcement strategy. Okay, that is called the positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, extension, and punishment. Okay, so we'll just discuss about this particular part. There are 4 types of reinforcements to influence the behavior of employee. To influence the behavior of employees. Okay, and so today I won't give any break to you. We'll wind up the class as soon as we'll complete this particular topic, learning. Okay, now these 4 basic types of strategies are the number 1, that is called positive reinforcement. Second is called negative reinforcement. Okay, the point number 1, that is called positive reinforcement. Second is called negative reinforcement. Third is called extinction. And fourth is called punishment. Okay, now when we discuss the important, the first point about this particular positive reinforcement. Okay, positive reinforcement basically you could say strengthen and increases the behavior of presentation of a desirable consequences. Like when we talk about whenever we are giving any reward to a particular individual, these positive reinforcement is basically type of reward that follow the behavior and is capable of increasing the behavior of an individual. Okay, the primary reinforcement, maybe you could say the food or the basic amenities like food, water, or any biological, you could say, appearances. So this is basically type of, you could say, positive reinforcement. Now, when we discuss about positive reinforcement, like when we talk about the fundamental need or fundamental fulfillment, a fundamental, you could say, utility of particular individual. When we talk about secondary reinforcement, it's all about job rate advancement, recognition, praises, esteem result. These are basically the secondary reinforcement. Okay, so always remember the positive reinforcements are basically the desirable rewards or reward which is as per the requirement of the employees. Okay, now these desirable rewards may be primary or secondary. Okay, now when we discuss about this particular primary rewards, okay, this primary rewards is basically the basic needs, and secondary reward is basically like, for example, the job advancement. Okay, now when we talk about other than job advancement, we have recognition, some promotions, anything would come up in the secondary reinforcement. Okay, and we'll talk about the basic needs. These basic needs, maybe you could say your food, shelter, etc. Okay, so these are the major, you could say, point which comes under positive reinforcement. Now when we discuss about the negative reinforcement, it is basically more about the punishment, okay, to an individual. Okay, now these type of punishment may be in terms of, you could say, removal of the employee, that is removal of the employee, or we can say that termination of particular person. So that is called the negative reinforcement. It is because of the you could say non-learning, or we can say that a particular person is not learned a particular behavior. So that will come under case of your negative reinforcement. Okay, the next and the third part which comes under this particular operant conditioning, that is called extinction. Okay, now extinction is basically nothing but, if you talk about the meaning of extinction, it is basically a method of controlling undesirable behavior. Let me type this, I think. Method of controlling undesirable behavior. For example, if you are giving a particular, you could, training to someone, and it might be possible that particular person may not actually you could say may not actually execute all such training in the manner it was being taught to him or her. Okay, in such a case, what we can do, that particular person, maybe you could say the behavior which they are actually providing to them, the extinction is basically all about how we can actually control the negative aspect of particular behavior. Okay, that is called basically non-reinforcement. Okay, like for example, when we discuss about any behavioral strategy, okay, and certain behavioral strategy that actually uh, stop someone or actually control someone, so that the result of the behavior of an individual may not be that much negative. So in this particular case, extinction is the process that how a particular undesirable behavior can be controlled. Okay, and the last and the important one, that is called the punishment. Now this punishment is basically all about the control, just to discourage, just to reduce the annoying behavior of the employee. Okay, so what we can type it over here, that is called the control device or control mechanism to discourage and reduce annoying behaviors of employee. Okay, so there is basic fundamental, you could say, understanding about operant conditioning as well. Any query, any doubt to anyone, please, in this part? Let me unmute everyone. If you have any query in these two theories, please do let me know. Let me unmute you now. Yes, now you have unmuted. You can unmute yourself by your own, and please ask your query if you have any. Yes, students. Any query to anyone in this first two theories, that is classical conditioning and operant conditioning. If it is clear, we'll move to the next part: observational, cognitive, and social learning. Yes, students, please kindly confirm. Is there any query to anyone?
No, sir.
No? Thank you, Ms. Poonam. Because this topic is again very simple topic which we're discussing right now. The components of Indian behavior. Okay, so let's move to the next point, that is called your observational learning. Okay. Now, when we discuss about the observational learning, as I told you, the observation of a particular individual, which may differ from a particular person. What I observe when I move out into a mall or into a market, someone may observe something else. And because of the observation a particular person have, accordingly, their learning would be different. Okay. So if we can see that, it results from watching the behavior of another person and appraising the consequences of that behavior, and appraising the consequences of that behavior. And appraising the consequences of that behavior. So always remember, the observation learning is totally depends on the perception or the point of view of particular individual, and how one can perceive something from the environment, from society, from the workplace, from the family. So this is all about the observational learning, what we perceive, and that perception, that perceiving behavior is become the learning part of a particular person's behavior. Now, the next part is called cognitive learning. Is called cognitive learning. Cognitive learning. Okay. Now, when we discuss the cognitive learning is basically the major focus on cognitive learning, that how an event and objects are related to each other. How events and objects are related to each other. Okay. Now I'll give a very basic example for that, because as we know that, like for example, we discuss about the classroom learning. Okay. The classroom training and the learning which is being, you could say, understood or perceived by someone. Online training and the learning which is being, you could say, understood or perceived by a particular person. Each and every mode or each and every event having the different impact of learning on a particular person. Okay, so always remember, the cognitive learning is the most important part which changes the behavior of a particular person. Now, the most important part under this particular cognitive learning is how a particular individual always perceive the right component of learning from a particular situation. Okay, for example, if a particular situation is being you could say dictated to someone, and accordingly the responses which is being asked from the employee, each and every individual having their own point of view to solve that particular situation. That particular situation is basically designed, or you could say being simulated in front of the employee, in order to understand their learning from all their training which is being done in the past. Okay, so it is very important that the cognitive learning is based on the teaching methodology or the process through which how a particular person can learn. Okay, so that is a very, very important part about this particular cognitive or a particular event and the objects are related to each other. Okay. Let's move to the next part about this particular learning process, and the last part, I think so, the types of learning we have, and that is called social learning. Now, when we discuss about this social learning is basically is all about the combination of cognitive and operant conditioning. Okay, because this social learning is basically all about how a particular person observe the environmental stimuli, which may be classical or which may be operant as well, or how a particular person can actually go for cognitive learning. So social learning is basically is all about the combination of the cognitive learning and the operant learning. Okay. So if you can say that it integrates the cognitive and operant approaches of learning. It recognizes the learning does not take place only because of environmental stimuli, that is called classical and operant view. Classical and the operant view, and individual stimulus, which is called the cognitive approach. And both the part we have discussed already. Cognitive approach. Okay. Or we can say that the social learning, it is blend of both views. Okay. So it's very simple, very important that social learning is a combination of the cognitive and you could say operant learning. And in this case, we can see that how both the learnings are basically helping an individual to learn certain stimulus. Okay. Fine. Is it clear, everyone? Now, the important, you could say, steps of modeling which we have in this particular learning method. Let me actually just draw this particular diagram on this particular slide. Just wait a minute, please. Okay. So the next and the last topic of this particular part, as we know that student may observe their teacher and model them. Okay. So the steps of modeling of learning we have. Now, as you can see that the diagram I'm just showing you, just wait a minute on my screen. The most important diagram of this particular learning process. Okay.
Jeans, shorts, dresses, crop tops, caps.
Yes, students. So as you can see that the learning process always starts from attention. That is about the process of listening the model or a particular individual or a particular group. Then you retain something out of that. The process of remembering something. Motor reproduction means when you copy those particular learning into the behavior of someone's life or into your behavior on daily basis. And reinforcement, if it is good one, doing it, you will repeat it, and these particular repetition will create your own identity in the market. So always remember, the learning process always starts from attention, retention, motor reproduction, and the reinforcement. So it's a very, very basic, important aspect about the learning process. Yes, students, I hope so. Now we are done with this particular topic, and we have discussed the all basic methods of learning. Okay. Now, when we talk about, I think, yes, I think we are done with this particular learning topic today. Okay. So we'll move to the doubt session for the day. And if you have any query, we can discuss it now, please. Yes, I have unmuted everyone. You can unmute yourself and please ask the query, anything from all these different type of theory, what is learning, the learning components we have in this particular matter, please. Yes, students. Any query to anyone?
So please explain again this motor reproduction.
See, I'll give a very simple example, Miss Poonam. Okay.
Yes,
Let's
yes,
suppose
sir.
you want to learn Java. Okay. Or you want to, you could say, learn certain personal development course, or some, you could say, English advancement course, or some French language, whatever it could be. Okay. First of all, important thing is that who is your trainer? Who is your, you could say, speaker? You will definitely listen to the speaker. You will actually observe him, or you will actually follow him, the guidelines, or the you could say the method through which he has taught you what exactly the meaning of certain methodology which you want to learn from that trainer. First thing is listening part. Out of that listening, up to what extent you can remember, like for example, out of the 100% you remember only 80%, 20% definitely you will forget it, because each and everything you cannot implement or remember whatever you have learned from the trainer. Out of that 80%, up to what extent you can actually practically implicate is called motor reproduction. And if that particular implication is good for a behavior, good for a company, good for society, definitely we will repeat it, and that repetition will basically create your identity and make yourself, you could say, quite different from the society or from the market.
Okay, sir. Understood.
Understood, I think. Okay. Yes.
So the YouTubes of this organization behavior are not yet uploaded.
I'm not sure about, but still I have to check actually, because this is I think session number 8 we have, 5 in the last class, session number 7 I think it is.
So yeah, yes, sir. I went through the YouTubes. They are not there.
Okay.
No,
Which
it is
session?
uploaded.
Uploaded?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I will.
Yeah, ma'am, just check it out, ma'am. I think so. It will be there.
So it is in the name of organization behavior.
Yeah, I don't know actually. I have to check it out. Let me check once. Find me. Then one
So
minute.
the person who told that there is.
1 minute.
It's on the. It's a YouTube thing, no? So it is there. You just have to put.
On YouTube.
I'm showing you on my
YouTube.
screen.
Yeah, I can. There is a link.
Sir, please show.
See, ma'am, Poonam, Miss Poonam, please kindly focus on my screen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's I Minister of Business Management. And
Yes,
if
sir.
you can just wait a minute. My internet is a bit slow right now. Because I think even on Saturday or Friday I saw a few lectures have been uploaded. Okay. Yeah, you can see that. So yeah, this is the session, you can say, attitude and perception we have already. Then
Yes.
Yeah, it is there. I don't know how many they have uploaded, but if you can check it out, I think you may find it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I will search.
open to OB and its model. Yes, it is there. If you can click on that, I think you will
Yes,
find
yes, sir.
on the bottom of the screen actually. Okay.
Okay, sir. I will search.
Yeah, sure. Definitely.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, friends. I think this topic is very simple actually, whatever we have covered up today. Is there any doubt to anyone, please, from this particular topic, learning? Yes, is there any doubt to anyone?
No, sir.
No, as of now, fine. Because tomorrow we will cover up that is motivation. I think the next unit we have, the next topic, I think better to say, I think. So next topic which we have, that is called the motivation. I think tomorrow that will cover up. Okay, and motivation might take 2 days. Okay, tomorrow and day after tomorrow, because it's a lengthy chapter, motivation. Okay, and then we'll move to the group behavior. So a lot of topics are there, but in meanwhile, definitely we may discuss some case studies as well. Okay, so what I will do, I'll share the case studies and the notes of this particular subject as well, PPTs as well with the institute. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I think because important thing about this particular subject is more about cases. Okay, because that's the reason I'm discussing all those particular important components first with you. Okay, fine. So I think let me give you one case study today. I think that we will discuss about different topics. Okay, so I'm just giving you one case study. Wait a minute, please. So I think what I can do, I am just sharing this particular case study with IIBM, okay, and they will definitely forward it to you because I don't have the email IDs available of the students. Okay, so I'm sharing this case study with IIBM, and one minute, okay, this case study is very important actually because very basic case study we'll discuss right now. Yes, student. So I'm just sending this case. I just give you a brief of this case study to you. Okay. The lesson from undercover bosses. Okay. It's a case study we have. And basically, if you can see that I'll show you this case study. I think let me, or we can do one thing, student. I think you can just take a screenshot of this case study, far better. Okay. The very simple case study we will actually discuss right now. Just let me share my screen with you. Yes, is my screen visible? I think lessons from undercover bosses. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can we discuss it right now? You can just read it once. And if you have any query in this, because we have 4 questions to solve for this particular case study. So I'll give you 10 to 15 minutes of time complete so you can discuss. Very basic case study about OB. Okay. Everyone, please. Is the font visible to everyone?
Okay, sir.
Yes. Is the font visible?
Yeah, visible.
Okay, fine. So it's 6:10 right now. I'm giving you 10 minutes of time to read this case, and then we will actually discuss the questions only. Okay, for this case study. Will it be okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please be ready with your summary. Fine. So I'm giving you 10 minutes of time. Yes, student, is it done? I think everyone. Yes, and if you are done, please kindly raise your hand so that we can discuss upon. Okay. And you can take a screenshot for a reference for this case study. Okay. Okay, Mr. Poonam, you are done. Good. I'm waiting for all the raising of hand, please, so that we will move to the discussion part on this. Okay, I'm waiting. Yeah, Vinod is done. Oh, good. So waiting for others to complete as well, and then we'll discuss. Okay. Yes, Soni Kumari, Hemant, Sami, Prakash, Anuj. Have you done? If you are done, please can raise your hand. I think if you are done, then we will discuss these 4 basic questions. Okay. Just kindly have a look of these questions now, and we'll start discussing on this, please. Okay. Yes, student, please kindly have a look of these 4 questions. किचन में किचन Yes, students. So, any doubt? I think it's a very simple question, simple case study, which is about the undercover bosses. Because how the management by walking around. Because I'll just give you a summary of this particular case study right now. how a particular manager, those who move from their seat to different, you could say, branches, different subsidiary or different departments of the company, they will get to know about the problem, challenges, and even the working style, what the things are going on around. In this case, the MBWA practice, that is called management by walking around, is always helping the manager or the top management in order to know about the working style or the working dynamics of the company. Now, in such a case, we can say that this MBWA practice is basically helping helping the company, especially because this case study is of HP. Okay, and you can see that how these answers can be done. Now, what I'll request everyone to just kindly complete all these 4 questions and just revert on my mail ID, that is ankitwaliaassignment@gmail.com. ankitwaliaassignment@gmail.com. Okay, so I'll just type it if you want. Please kindly mail the answer of this case study on my email ID. Okay. Wait a minute. I'm just giving you my email ID. So my email ID is ankitwaliaassignment@gmail.com. Okay. Please can note down the email ID and just mail the 4 answers. And please kindly mention the name in the subject of the email, okay? So that we recognize that who has sent the mail. So Ms. Poonam, Anuj, Prakhar, and other students I can see in the list right now, Sami, Soni, Vinod, and Hemant. This is your first case study assignment for this particular subject, OB, okay? So just complete this case study and revert me by tomorrow, okay? Before the next class. Please kindly submit. I'll cross-check your answer as well, and we'll let you know what error you have committed in that. Okay. So is there any more query to anyone, please? If so, you can raise your hand. Ms. Poonam, I think you have raised your hand. Any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much. Any other query to any student?
Sir, I am not enrolled for all this program, so what to do?
Yes, you can submit, ma'am. Like for your knowledge purpose only, you can submit the case study. Okay. So I'll cross-check your one as well, and we'll let you know what error you have committed. Okay.
So please display the questions, sir.
Question. Okay, ma'am. Okay. You can just take the screenshot, I think. Fine. Just
Okay,
screenshot
sir.
of this case.
So I'm on laptop, sir.
Okay. So you do one thing, just text me on my WhatsApp. I'll share the case study with you. Fine.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, yes, sir.
Yes, yes. What I'm doing right now, I'm just typing my email address along with my WhatsApp number. Okay. Just a minute, student. Okay. Yeah, this is my WhatsApp number. If you haven't actually took the screenshot, I'll just text you on your WhatsApp, and you can just drop your answers at Ankit Walia assignment@gmail.com. Okay, you just text me on this number. I'll share the case study with you. Is it okay? I think so. Yes, please note it down. Yes, student, done, I think. Any more doubt? Any more queries, please? Miss Poonam, any doubt, please? I think you have raised your hand again.
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, perfect, perfect. So thank you so much, everyone, and we'll catch you tomorrow with the next topic, that is motivation and the different motivational theories. Okay, thank you so much, everyone.